Alright guys, just me again, back here with another favourite things today. This time I am going to talk about one of my favourite animated movies of all time. I cannot recommend this more highly than the other highly rated animated films I'm going to have and show you at some point. And that film is Up by Pixar. Perhaps not really a surprise choice if you're really into animated films like me, but for anyone that's not watched it and for anyone that wants to hear my thoughts on why I like it so much, please watch the video and I'll explain them to you. So, if I had to sum it up, I would say there's not that many films that have as much heart and depth actually as Up does, especially in the animated realm. Pixar, the studio that created it, they're so well known for making great films, but I would say this film has a lot more heart than I've seen in quite a few of them. I mean, The Incredibles were awesome. You had Wally and all the rest. You had Cars, for example. But when you compare Cars to Up, you see a great difference between the essence of the two movies at the end of the day. Okay, and I'll go into detail what I mean about heart in a minute. I'll bear back up just a bit quickly and explain what the premise of the film is. So, Up is about this elderly man, Carl, who fell in love with his childhood sweetheart and his soulmate, Ellie. They lived together and they had this dream to go to South America to follow in the footsteps of their mutual favourite explorer. And Carl finally managed to save up the money from their pension fund and gets the tickets, but then unfortunately Ellie falls ill and passes away. And I have to say, those first 5 minutes of the film are some of the most ridiculously heart wrenching animated moments I have actually seen. I was slowly crying in the cinema. I mean, it was so touching. They put in so much more emotional connection and love into those moments. Sorry, so I'm getting welling up a bit actually thinking about it. Then, don't hate me, Twilight fans. I think their love is a lot more genuine than the love between Bella and Edward. Their love, Bella and Edward's love, is a lot more intense and passionate, but this was just their love was kind and compassionate and just so nice in its simplicity of two people finding each other. Uh, it came across on screen, despite the fact they're animated characters. It came across so clearly. It was phenomenal. The first 5 minutes sold the movie to me. You know, if nothing else, I would have gone away saying this had a great start. But anyway, going back to it, Ellie passes away. Fast forward, and Carl is moping. He has lost the love of his life, so he's lost all motivation. And so he's just living in their old house. All the while, city builds around them. These developers want to come in and destroy Carl's house. He won't let them, but after a misunderstanding and an incident, they manage to have the law put him into an old folks' home. In order to prevent that, though, Carl decides to just risk it all. He uses his whole career of balloon blowing salesmanship to blow up hundreds of balloons, attach them to his house, and it lifts up into the air. It's free. It's turned into a floating houseboat. And Carl has rigged it up so he can then fly the house and Ellie's memories and her spirit, so to speak, down to South America, fulfilling her last wish. What's not known, however, is the fact that a young Boy Scout that was attempting to help Carl earlier was on the porch of the house and is now along for the ride. I remember now, his name was Russell. And as they get to South America, throw in the explorer that Ellie and Carl loved in the past, still alive, but now is slightly demented and crazy, with a rare endangered bird he's trying to chase after, and a journey that Carl and Russell have to take to try and get the house over to the spot where Carl believes that the house should rest to fulfill Ellie's wishes. And you've got a film that is both completely unpredictable, something that hasn't. I mean, there's nothing quite like it. You get plenty of films about the journey that characters go for at the end of the day with a task in mind. But this one has so many twists and turns, you don't quite see what's going to happen. The end of the film is both, sort of what you might guess would happen, things coming well in the end, but then it doesn't turn out exactly how you think it will. Well, and that combination was so well done. The entire film was, at the end of the day, is fantastic. This doesn't really need a sequel. It might have a sequel. It's one of the best titles Pixar have ever done. So they probably will make a sequel at some point. I hope not, personally, because I wouldn't want to chance it, because it's such a great standalone classic. And the fact that it works on so many levels, because kids can watch it, they can get into the whole talking dogs, endangered birds, comical little kid making his little jokes and stuff, of the grumpy old man. But then it works on such a great emotional level for the parents, because they're seeing the determination of Carl to fulfill his last requests and wishes to Ellie, then her messages to him, all the personal trials and tribulations they're going through. It strangely works on two levels at the same time, that kids can watch and enjoy it, and parents will sit there and enjoy it as well, but then go, sort of thing. So, yeah, I mean, visually it's up to the same standard as most Pixar movies as well. Fantastic animation, great visuals. The floating house is such a great idea. It just captures the imagination as well. Really, it does invoke the sense of exploration that the film actually has. It hasn't. I mentioned about the journey, and it is about the journey. It's about someone, no matter how old they are, being willing and able to explore new depths, and it's never too late in your life to, move on to new territory and to explore new territory and such. Just a quick mention about the villain as well, because I found the villain quite interesting. He's the old explorer, as mentioned, that is found out to still be alive and is still hunting this rare endangered bird that the characters all become tangled up with in South America. And you could leave it at that just to make him out as evil, to be selfish and greedy, but he isn't. He is selfish and greedy, but he's actually more bitter. He's motivated by an obsession that has been developed because people didn't believe him in the past. He was telling the truth in the past. He was sent back to South America because everyone didn't believe that this giant bird exists, but he knew it existed. And that it is rare to find a villain that's actually been well thought through and whose motives are not just motivated by pure evil sort of thing, but someone you could see there's become a product of circumstance. He didn't, originally he might have been a bit vain and foolhardy and such, but it's clear that this man over time has just been consumed by bitterness, and that's why he's been made into this villain, and that's why he's made these bad choices. His life could have turned out so much different if he hadn't been disbelieved in the first place and such. And it's, for an animated film to have a villain like that. I mean, The Incredibles had that psychotic sidekick villain, and he too was bitter and such, but he was more kind of like stereotypically evil, whereas this guy's is different, and that's intriguing, really intriguing. And just going on from that, I mean, the entire cast of characters at the end of the day is not your bog standard typical band. I mean, the youngest one you've got is that little kid Russell, and then, huge age gap between little Russell, full of enthusiasm, and these two older men who have both seen so much in their lives, and have been shaped by their different experiences. And that's such a great little contrast. There's so many great little points about this animated feature. You could nitpick every one of them. You could talk about all the different little characters and the pros and cons about it. I haven't really mentioned any cons because I really don't have any cons with this movie. I think it's a well put together plot, great animation, great characteristics, unexpected just an unexpectedly written plot at the end of the day. So it'd be something different that you haven't seen before, with such heart and depth in it. Because in the end, you know, Carl doesn't stop living, and he completes a journey that he wanted to do for Ellie's path. But in doing the journey, he doesn't complete it and then stop. He actually finds new motivation to do more stuff with his time, to carry on and such, and then start to make a change in things. And how many animated films, and really how many films, have such a deep and powerful connecting message at the end of the day? This really is one of the best animated features I've seen in my time so far. I'm hoping that I'll be privileged to see other animated movies and just other movies that have such, you know, simplest. It's like great depth, but yet simple messages, you know, just from the heart at the same time. And to have something that combines both of those in one, I think, is a fantastic achievement. So yeah, that was my review for Up. I wholeheartedly recommend it. You should show it to your kids. You should watch it yourself. Just go out, get a copy, and enjoy yourself. Okay? No, right. I think I've said everything I need to say about that. So I hope you have a great time watching it like I did, and I shall see you soon. Bye.